In the misty folds of history, the Norse Vikings made a series of daring expeditions to North America, where they encountered indigenous peoples. While many aspects of this chapter in history remain shrouded in mystery, the interactions between these two disparate cultures have intrigued historians and archaeologists for centuries. This video dives into the complex dynamics of these interactions without offering any preliminary background. First contact with Native Americans. The Norse sagas, ancient texts that recount the adventures of Viking explorers, provide an account of the first encounters with the people they referred to as Skraelings, a term believed to represent the Native American tribes of the region. These interactions took place in the area known today as Newfoundland, Canada, specifically at a site called L'Anse aux Meadows. According to the sagas, Leif Erikson, a prominent Viking explorer, led the first expedition to what he called Vinland around the year 1000 CE. The Vikings were drawn to the area by the abundance of natural resources, including timber and wild grapes. However, they soon found that they were not alone in this newfound land. The initial interactions between the Vikings and Native Americans were driven by curiosity and observation. The sagas describe how the two groups would approach each other cautiously, observing from a distance. They would then withdraw and engage in what can only be assumed to be intense discussion and planning with their respective groups. The Norse accounts describe battles and skirmishes with the Native Americans, with both sides suffering casualties. The Vikings, unfamiliar with the terrain and outnumbered by the natives, found themselves at a disadvantage. The Native Americans were adept at using the landscape to their advantage, employing hit-and-run tactics that confounded the Viking warriors. In addition to the physical confrontations, there were psychological battles being waged. The Vikings were described as being deeply unsettled by the unfamiliar customs, tactics, and appearances of the Native Americans. The natives, in turn, were likely equally perplexed by the strange men who arrived on their shores with unknown technology and practices. Despite the growing hostilities, the sagas also recount instances of peaceful interaction and even collaboration. In some cases, the Vikings and Native Americans managed to find common ground, working together to hunt or trade. However, these instances were exceptions rather than the rule. As time wore on, the relationships between the Vikings and Native Americans became increasingly strained. The Vikings' aggressive pursuit of resources, coupled with their inability to adapt to local conditions, put them in constant conflict with the indigenous people. Ultimately, the first contact between these two disparate cultures was a complex and multifaceted affair. The interaction was marked by moments of curiosity, cooperation, misunderstanding, and violence. It laid the groundwork for a relationship that would continue to evolve over subsequent Viking expeditions to North America, but was always characterized by a fundamental tension that neither side could fully overcome. This chapter paints a picture of an uneasy and complicated first meeting between two worlds, setting the stage for further exploration, conflict, and cultural exchange in the chapters that follow. Viking settlements and expansion. Following the initial contact with the Native Americans, the Vikings sought to establish a more permanent presence in North America. The exploration of Vinland, as the Norse called it, was driven by the scarcity of resources in Greenland and a desire for new territories. The settlements they founded and their subsequent expansion reveal a complex and arduous process fraught with challenges. The establishment of settlements was not a straightforward process. The Vikings encountered numerous obstacles in their efforts to colonize the new land. The harsh climate, unfamiliar terrain, and the presence of Native American tribes all posed significant challenges. One of the major barriers to Viking expansion was the constant friction with the Native American populations. While there were moments of cooperation, the overall relationship was marked by hostility and misunderstanding. The Vikings' attempts to assert control over territories and resources led to conflicts, with the indigenous people resisting these incursions. Skirmishes and battles with the Native Americans made settlement a risky and often short-lived endeavor. The challenges of the new environment were equally daunting. The Vikings had to adapt to different weather patterns, soil conditions, and wildlife. They also had to learn new ways of farming, fishing, and hunting to sustain themselves. Despite their reputation as skilled sailors and warriors, the Norse found themselves in a land where their traditional skills were not always applicable or sufficient. Furthermore, the Viking settlements were never entirely self-sufficient. They remained dependent on supplies and support from Greenland and Iceland. The long and perilous journey across the Atlantic made regular communication and resupply a challenge. When unfavorable weather or political changes in their home countries disrupted these lifelines, the settlements became even more vulnerable. Despite these difficulties, the Viking presence in North America persisted for several decades. The sagas describe multiple expeditions and attempts to forge a lasting foothold in the New World. These accounts tell of exploration, settlement, abandonment, and resettlement, reflecting a pattern of trial and error as the Vikings grappled with the realities of their new environment. What emerges from this period of Viking settlement and expansion is a picture of ambition tempered by adversity. The Norse explorers were driven by a desire for new opportunities and a spirit of adventure. They were willing to venture into unknown territories, confront unfamiliar peoples, and adapt to new ways of living. Yet they were also constrained by the limitations of their technology, knowledge, and the constant pressures from the indigenous population. The Viking expansion in North America is a complex tale of courage, curiosity, and struggle. It offers a window into a time when the boundaries of the known world were still fluid, and the meeting of different cultures was a source of both opportunity and conflict. It is a chapter in history that speaks to the timeless human quest for discovery and the challenges that come with breaking new ground. While the Vikings never managed to establish a lasting presence in North America, their efforts laid the groundwork for future exploration and colonization by Europeans. Their settlements, brief as they were, represent the first known European attempts to colonize the New World. Even though they eventually withdrew, the Viking explorations in North America stand as a testament to human resilience, adaptability, and the relentless drive to explore the unknown. Conflicts and alliances with native tribes. The relationship between the Vikings and the Native Americans was complex and multifaceted, encompassing a spectrum of interactions ranging from cooperation to violent conflict. The Norse sagas, coupled with archaeological evidence, shed light on a pattern of engagement marked by both alliances and skirmishes. This chapter delves into the intricacies of these relationships and explores how they shaped the Viking experience in North America. Similar clashes arose over territorial disputes and competition for resources. The Vikings' efforts to explore and settle new lands invariably brought them into conflict with the native populations, who saw them as intruders. The Vikings' aggressive approach, often involving the construction of fortified settlements and taking control of key resource areas, further exacerbated tensions. The Native Americans were far from passive victims, however. They were skilled warriors and tacticians, familiar with the local terrain and capable of effective resistance. The Vikings were often surprised by the ferocity and cunning of the native defenders. Several accounts detail battles where the Vikings were outmaneuvered and forced to retreat, realizing that they were not simply dealing with an easily subdued people. Despite the prevalence of conflict, there were also instances of alliance and cooperation between the Vikings and Native Americans. Such collaborations were often driven by practical considerations, such as mutual benefit in trade or hunting. One well-documented episode of cooperation occurred during Thorfinn Karlsefni's expedition. According to the sagas, Thorfinn and his followers established a trade relationship with the native tribes, exchanging goods like red cloth and metal implements for valuable animal pelts and furs. This relationship, while tenuous, represented a rare moment of peaceful coexistence and mutual benefit. In other cases, alliances may have been forged out of shared interests or common enemies. While the historical record is scant, it is plausible that temporary alliances could have been formed to deal with mutual threats or to exploit particular opportunities. These alliances, however fragile and short-lived, demonstrate that the relationship between the Vikings and Native Americans was not solely defined by conflict. Similarly, the Native Americans' perception of the Vikings was likely influenced by their own cultural norms and beliefs. The appearance and behavior of these foreign intruders, with their metal tools, strange ships, and unknown customs must have been equally perplexing and intimidating. The chapter of history encompassing the conflicts and alliances between the Vikings and Native American tribes is rich and complex. It reveals a tapestry of interactions that defy simple categorization as either friendly or hostile. What emerges from this examination is a nuanced understanding of human behavior in the face of the unknown. The Vikings and Native Americans, separated by vast differences in language, culture, and experience, navigated a precarious path between cooperation and conflict. These interactions, marked by curiosity, fear, opportunism, and aggression, provide a microcosm of the broader human experience. They remind us of the challenges and possibilities that arise when different cultures meet, and the delicate balance that must be struck to forge understanding and mutual respect. The Viking experience in North America, with its complex web of conflicts and alliances with the indigenous peoples, provides valuable insights into the dynamics of cultural contact and conflict. It stands as a testament to both the potential for human connection and the ever-present risk of misunderstanding and violence that can arise when worlds collide. Trade and cultural exchange. The Vikings' ventures into North America were not solely motivated by conquest or colonization. Trade and cultural exchange played significant roles in shaping their interactions with Native American tribes. While fraught with complexities and sometimes marred by misunderstandings, the multifaceted relationship between these two distinct cultures sheds light on the dynamics of cross-cultural engagement in a time of exploration and expansion. Trade was a central component of Viking life, and their expeditions to North America were no exception. As they explored new lands, they sought valuable commodities that were scarce in their homelands. The Native American tribes possessed furs, hides, and other local products that were highly sought after by the Vikings. Conversely, the Vikings brought goods that were unfamiliar to the Native Americans. Items such as iron tools, red cloth, and other European products held particular appeal. While the primary focus of interaction was often trade, these exchanges inevitably led to some level of cultural engagement. The Vikings and Native Americans observed each other's customs, practices, and ways of life. Though the historical record is limited, it is possible to glean insights into how these encounters might have influenced both parties. For the Vikings, the encounter with Native American tribes represented an exposure to entirely new ways of living. They encountered different methods of hunting, fishing, and agriculture. Native American technologies, such as canoes, snowshoes, and particular types of weaponry, were likely novel to the Vikings and may have influenced their own practices. For the Native Americans, the Vikings represented a glimpse into a broader world beyond their shores. The Norse construction techniques, navigation skills, and various goods offered insights into a vastly different culture and technology. Yet, this exchange was not without its challenges. Deep cultural differences, particularly in spiritual beliefs and social norms, could lead to confusion and mistrust. For example, the sagas describe instances where the Vikings were puzzled by Native American rituals, while the Native Americans were equally perplexed by Viking customs. Though the Viking presence in North America was relatively brief, it left a lasting imprint. The trade interactions, while episodic and localized, were among the first recorded commercial engagements between the Old World and the New. They laid the groundwork for later European exploration and trade in the Americas. The cultural exchange, though less tangible, also left a lasting legacy. These early encounters between Vikings and Native Americans set a precedent for cross-cultural interaction, negotiation, and adaptation. They illustrated both the potential for cooperation and the inherent challenges in bridging cultural divides. These interactions, however brief and localized, provide a window into a time when the boundaries of known worlds were expanding and cultures were meeting in ways previously unimaginable. They offer valuable insights into the potentials and pitfalls of cross-cultural exchange, lessons that resonate across the ages. The trade and cultural exchange between Vikings and Native Americans remain an integral part of the broader narrative of Viking exploration in North America. It stands as a testament to human ingenuity, curiosity, and the enduring quest to connect across divides, even in the face of profound differences and challenges. Decline of Viking presence in North America. The Viking presence in North America, marked by exploration, trade, and intermittent settlement, was not destined to endure. Despite their ambitions and the considerable risks they undertook, the Viking experiment in the New World was relatively short-lived. This chapter explores the factors that contributed to the decline of the Viking presence in North America and examines what their withdrawal reveals about the broader challenges of early colonization and cross-cultural engagement. The environmental conditions in North America posed significant challenges to the Viking settlers. The northern regions, where they established their bases like Lens aux Meadows, were marked by a harsh and unforgiving climate. Cold temperatures, unpredictable weather patterns, and the difficulty of farming unfamiliar lands strained the Vikings' ability to sustain themselves. Furthermore, the scarcity of key resources, such as timber in Greenland, led to increased pressure to find new lands. While North America offered new opportunities, it also presented new environmental challenges that the Vikings struggled to overcome. As detailed in previous chapters, the relationship between the Vikings and the Native American tribes was fraught with conflict. Skirmishes and outright battles were common, reflecting underlying tensions over territory, resources, and cultural misunderstandings. The initial Viking interest in North America was driven in part by the prospect of lucrative trade and access to valuable resources. However, these economic incentives proved elusive. While there was successful trade on occasion, it was not consistent or profitable enough to justify the ongoing investment in exploration and settlement. The distances were vast, the journeys perilous, and the local markets unpredictable. Moreover, the hostility encountered from the indigenous populations further hampered trade relations. In the context of the broader Viking world, with established trade networks in Europe and Asia, the North American venture may have seemed increasingly marginal and unattractive. The risks and costs outweighed the potential rewards. Political changes back in Scandinavia also played a role in the decline of the Viking presence in North America. As the political landscape in Europe evolved, the priorities and interests of the Viking leaders shifted. Furthermore, social factors within the Viking communities may have contributed to the withdrawal. The sagas hint at internal discord and leadership struggles within the Viking expeditions. These conflicts, combined with the broader challenges of settlement, may have eroded the resolve and cohesion necessary to sustain a long-term presence in North America. The withdrawal of the Vikings from North America marked the end of the first European experiment in the New World. While they did not establish a lasting presence, their explorations and engagements left a lasting imprint. The Viking expeditions to North America are a testament to human curiosity, courage, and the relentless drive to explore new horizons. They also reveal the complexities and challenges of early colonization and cross-cultural interaction. The Viking experience in North America serves as a precursor to later European explorations and sets the stage for the complex history of colonization that would unfold in the following centuries. Moreover, the decline of Viking presence is not merely a story of failure or retreat. It offers insights into the delicate interplay of environmental, economic, social, and political factors that shape human endeavors. It reminds us of the fragility of human enterprises and the ever-present challenges that come with venturing into the unknown. The decline of the Viking presence in North America is a multifaceted story that defies simple explanation. It encompasses a range of factors, from the immediate challenges of environment and conflict to broader economic, social, and political dynamics. This chapter adds depth to our understanding of the Viking saga in North America, providing a nuanced perspective on the nature of exploration, settlement, and withdrawal. It resonates with themes that are timeless and universal, reflecting the human condition in all its complexity and ambition. The Viking chapter in North American history stands as a reminder of the transient nature of human endeavors and the intricate web of factors that can shape success or failure. It offers a window into a past that continues to intrigue and inspire, even as it challenges our assumptions and broadens our understanding of what it means to explore, engage, and ultimately, to endure. Legacy and impact on Native American societies. The Viking exploration and settlement of North America were fleeting, yet their encounters with Native American societies left lasting impressions. Though the material impact of the Vikings may have been minimal due to the brief nature of their presence, the legacy of these early cross-cultural interactions offers valuable insights into the dynamics of contact, adaptation, and change. In terms of tangible material impact, the Vikings' influence on Native American societies appears limited. Their presence in North America was confined to a relatively small geographical area and lasted for a short period. Consequently, there is little evidence to suggest a widespread or enduring change in Native American ways of life directly attributable to Viking contact. While the material impact was limited, the cultural impressions of these encounters may have been more profound. The Vikings and Native Americans engaged in a complex interplay of observation, negotiation, conflict, and cooperation. These interactions, however brief, provided glimpses into foreign worldviews and practices. From the Native American perspective, the Vikings represented an unknown and intriguing external world. Their technology, customs, and appearance were novel and potentially influential. While the historical record is scant, oral traditions and indigenous storytelling may have preserved memories of these encounters, weaving them into the cultural fabric of the tribes. The Viking encounters with Native American tribes set precedents for future contacts between indigenous societies and European explorers. These early interactions illuminated the possibilities and challenges of cross-cultural engagement. On one hand, they revealed the potential for trade, alliance, and mutual learning. On the other, they exposed the risks of misunderstanding, conflict, and violence. The lessons learned from these Viking-Native American interactions would echo through subsequent centuries of European exploration and colonization. The legacy of the Viking encounters with Native Americans is also shaped by how these events have been interpreted and represented over time. The sagas, written from a Viking perspective, provide a lens through which to view these encounters but also reflect the biases and priorities of their authors. Modern scholarship, archaeology, and indigenous perspectives continue to expand and refine our understanding of these historical events. The way we interpret and represent the Viking-Native American encounters informs not only our historical understanding, but also our contemporary perceptions of cultural contact, colonization, and resistance. The legacy and impact of Viking presence in North America on Native American societies is a complex and nuanced subject. While the tangible influence may have been localized and transient, the intangible impressions and precedents set by these encounters continue to resonate. The Viking chapter in North American history provides a window into a time of exploration, curiosity, and cross-cultural engagement. It reflects the human capacity for both connection and conflict, adaptation and change. Though separated by time and culture, the lessons gleaned from these early encounters between Vikings and Native Americans offer timeless insights into the human condition and the enduring complexities of cultural interaction. In exploring the legacy and impact of the Vikings on Native American societies, we are invited to reflect on broader themes of contact, change, representation, and memory. These themes continue to shape our world, reminding us of the intricate tapestry of human history and the delicate dance of engagement that defines our shared experience. Modern discoveries and interpretations. The Viking expeditions to North America and their interactions with Native American societies remain a subject of fascination and ongoing research. Modern discoveries and interpretations are reshaping our understanding of these historical events, adding new dimensions to the narrative and challenging long-held assumptions. This chapter explores some of the key developments in archaeological findings, historiographical trends, and cultural perspectives that are deepening our insights into the Viking presence in the New World. Further excavations and research have provided valuable insights into the daily life, construction methods, and material culture of the Vikings in North America. These findings have also allowed for a more precise dating of the Viking expeditions, aligning them with the historical accounts found in the sagas. New techniques, such as satellite imagery and DNA analysis, are opening up fresh avenues of investigation. The potential for more discoveries and a deeper understanding of Viking-Native American interactions remains an exciting prospect. The sagas, long the primary source of information about Viking explorations, are being re-evaluated in light of modern scholarship. Historians and literary scholars are applying new methods of textual analysis to probe the complexities of these narratives. This renewed scrutiny is leading to a more nuanced appreciation of the saga's historical value, literary artistry, and cultural context. Questions about authorship, audience, intention, and accuracy are enriching our understanding of how the Viking expeditions were perceived and remembered in their time. Incorporating Native American perspectives into the study of Viking presence in North America represents an important shift in modern interpretations. Indigenous oral traditions, cultural practices, and perspectives on land, history, and identity are being woven into the broader narrative. These indigenous voices add depth and diversity to the understanding of Viking Native American interactions. They challenge Eurocentric views and offer a more balanced and inclusive account of these historical events. The story of the Vikings in North America has captured the popular imagination and become a subject of novels, films, documentaries, and more. These cultural representations influence how the Viking expeditions are perceived and understood by the wider public. While popular culture can spark interest and engagement, it can also lead to simplifications, exaggerations, or misrepresentations. The portrayal of the Vikings as either heroic explorers or ruthless invaders, for example, can overshadow the complexities and nuances of their history. The Viking presence in North America also intersects with broader issues of history, heritage, and national identity. The commemoration of Viking explorations, such as the statue of Leif Erikson in Newfoundland, reflects a desire to connect with a storied past. At the same time, the interpretation of Viking history can be influenced by contemporary political and social dynamics. Issues such as colonialism, multiculturalism, and indigenous rights resonate through the Viking narrative, making it a living history with contemporary relevance. Modern discoveries and interpretations of the Viking presence in North America are transforming our understanding of this remarkable chapter in human history. They are uncovering new dimensions, challenging old assumptions, and weaving a richer, more complex tapestry of interaction, exploration, and legacy. The ongoing research, dialogue, and reflection on the Viking expeditions and their interactions with Native American societies reflect a vibrant field of study. It embodies the dynamism of history itself, where new findings, diverse perspectives, and fresh interpretations continually reshape and enrich our understanding. In exploring the modern discoveries and interpretations of the Viking presence in North America, we are reminded that history is not static or settled. It is a living, evolving narrative that continues to engage, challenge, and inspire. It invites us to look beyond the surface, to question and connect, and to see ourselves as part of a broader human journey that transcends time and place.